Hey, what's up, everybody? Good evening. Looks like everything is working pretty good. As always, let me know. So I always start with a beer. And Roger Hart, that awesome dude, actually sent me a couple beers from Springfield. There we go, too close. From Mother Stewart's, Springfield, Ohio. This one is a red ale. And their Oktoberfest. So when we were in Springfield, we were at that, it looks like it's an old train station that was converted into a restaurant and a brunch spot, and then I think there's shops later in the day. But the guy who worked at the breakfast spot, it was a little too early to order a beer, and I was like, oh, too bad we're not going to get to go to any of the breweries, and he brought one over to me, so I ended up having a beer on our bikepacking trip at like, I don't know, whatever time it was, 10 o'clock. What's up, guys? What's up? What's up, Bubba? What's up, Jesus? Kayak. Rick says it sounds good. What's up, Rick? What's up, Dylan? So, yeah, what's up again, Roger? And thanks so much. Yeah, starting with the red ale, if I didn't say that. But, yeah. Summit, Patrick, Stream Elements. Getting a brew view right now. Yeah. Live brew view. I think we talked about that on the live streams before, but that's the first thing I did on this channel was review beers. But the Cohatch. That's good. That is a really like a really good grainy flavor. It almost has the aroma like when you walk into a brewery, you guys know. And if you ever walked into a brewery when they're brewing and you smell that awesome smell of like the boiling wort and all that kind of stuff when they're actually like, it has that like on the nose, which I've never, I don't think I've ever quite smelled something like that before. It's really good. Hey, what's up, JMZ? I have to thank JMZ. He dropped a donation during the stream last time to the PayPal link. So thanks a lot, JMZ. I really appreciate that. Also, I saw Summit Perry. He showed in the Discord his he picked up a gravel shirt, industrial gravel shirt. So thanks for that. And then Jay Dandy is, as you can see at the top of the screen, the latest member. So Kayak asked if it's bitter. No, it's very it's real malty, like real malt forward. So a couple things real quick. So I did order because Rick, it finally not pressured me, but kept, it's just a good idea. I kept saying, because my camera dies, I'm using a DSLR. So I did order a power adapter so I'll be able to plug this camera into the wall. So no more dying batteries during the streams. And also, I don't want to cycle through they're fairly expensive batteries and just put so many cycles on them by doing the live streaming. So plugging this camera into the wall just makes sense anyways for the longevity of my batteries because the same ones go in my newer camera. So yeah, I thought it's a good idea. I should do it. It's really convoluted. There's like an adapter that goes into the battery compartment. It goes to another thing, then goes to the wall. And this is the official Canon one. But it's worth it. So I thought I wrote a couple things that I wanted to, I guess those are the things that I wanted to mention right away. Hey, what's up, Nicholas? What are you drinking, Rick, that you want real beer? Well, let's look and see what everyone is sipping on. So, over here. There we go. JMZ's drinking a Delirium Tremens. That's a great beer. I don't know if I've never seen it in the can. I've definitely had that beer at bars and restaurants. Let's see, Dylan. I don't know if I said hi, Dylan. What's up, Dylan? Dylan's got a seltzer water, pink grapefruit. I think I have that exact same blower for my lenses and products. When I'm shooting product photography, I do that a lot too. Oh, Pudgy's here. God, yeah. About to have a heart attack. Looks like Large Marge is drinking Tiny Little Blizzards IPA. Flying Monkey. Huh, I've never seen that one by them, but I always see their trucks go by. And Pudgy's got the Canon Crew sampler. So you've got the loose Canon, Tropicanon, Americanon, and double Canon. You should probably work through it in that specific, work through it in that angle. Oh yeah, gluten-free. Sorry, Rick, I know that and totally forgot. Yeah, this is delicious, Roger. Thanks. Didn't someone say they're a cool little brewery? I asked Erin about it because when you sent him, Roger, I looked him up and told her about it, and she was like, she told me she had it on the list for when we hit Springfield, but the timing just wasn't right. I mean, like I said, it was morning, but she was like, "Oh, I've heard that name because I had actually pinned it on the map." Let's see where I am. Oh yeah, Suppa Bubba said he found me through Pixel Wolf and wants to get into biking right now. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I've got my shirt on that Pixel Wolf designed for me. So I almost always get black shirts, so I decided to go outside the box and get something totally different and went yellow. It'll be good for summer, but yeah, it's the best thing. I love it. So, oh, and then I also figured this out. So now, like I'm talking about them, I think we could do commands. Let's see if it works. Oh, maybe not. If you do an exclamation point and then swag or an exclamation point then Discord, I set it so it would pull that link, but it didn't work. Let's see. I'm looking at that right now. Oh, it does work. It just takes it has to go to outer space or whatever. Hey, what's up, Gary? Now I'm way behind. Everyone's glad Pudgy's here. Gluten-free piss water. Americanon is trash. Loose is okay, and the other two are solid. You've already gone through 4 of them, all tonight. It was an old casket company. Okay, that was talking about the place. Kayak said he used to brew beer but stopped drinking. CDL driver. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I used to home brew, but I've talked about this too. We only extract brewed, and I could only get the flavor so good. And basically, you can make a decent IPA because you could cover up the base beer with the hops. But I realized if I wanted to homebrew, I'd have to go all in and do it the right way, and I just never made that commitment. So, yeah, that's, you know. So instead, I just kind of stopped. Ben said the robot posted the swag link. Yeah, just a little bit of delay, but that's kind of cool. I think that whole large Marge typed an exclamation drink. I was saying, like, if you guys could think of any other things that would be important, like it kind of comes from the gamer world. So if the gamer has a setup and stuff like that, they would make those commands instead of always having to type that in every single time. It doesn't have to be a link. It could just be information. So I can make an unlimited amount of those commands if anything makes sense. I think for our stream and the smaller crew we have so far, I can't think of anything that we really would need to do, but if you guys have any ideas, it would make sense. Piddle. Yeah, I made a video to pop on when the breaks need to happen. So Gary's drinking rock stars today. Yeah, and then so the other one, the stream elements, when that pops up with some stuff, that's just a timer. So, but I figured it made more sense to. So I think I'll probably end up taking the timer guy off, and just so we could pop that in. Anyone could type in that thing command, I guess. Rick asked if Kayak Man eats bennies. So Kayak Man was saying how he wants a gravel bike, but the cheapest he was seeing is in the $800 range. I was saying I don't think you could really go below that new. The state bicycle they have at Dirty River, which is about the cheapest you could get for something decent. I think me and Ben were looking at Large Marge. We're looking at that tonight. What that's $850. I really think you'd have to go used or build something on your own. Gary says, amazing how many brick roads are in Akron. Yeah, well, still a decent amount. Akron is poor, that's true too. We were talking about this on Tuesday. I was saying how those brick roads hold up so well. I just don't understand why they pave over them all the time instead of just replace a couple of the bricks or re-straighten them every so often. But Pudgy, that has a good idea for building a cheaper gravel bike, an old ridge and mountain bike with a drop bar conversion. No, that's a really good idea. And I mean, that is pretty close to what a gravel bike is. The other thing would be like an old cyclocross bike, like Dustin Klein talked about, and finding sometimes too, if you could find a bike that was a 27 and convert to 700C, you could fit, like on my Roger Riviera, I was able to fit 38s, which by gravel standards these days is still pretty narrow, but is pretty capable depending on how gnarly the stuff you're going to ride is. But then you could also put a much wider tire in the front, because usually in the back you're just limited on tire size by the chainstays, where in the front you have way more leeway. Dylan says, get an old cross bike, size up one size since the geometry is more aggressive than a gravel bike. High saddle to drop bar. Yeah. Nicholas says Spindat did that with a hard rock. Nice. Hey, what's up, Rodford? Yeah, there's ways to do it. Oh, you think Pudgy says a journeyman Claris may be even cheaper. No, oh, I missed that too. Gnarls. Saw some decent looking sub 1,000 bikes at Decathlon. Yeah, there are decent. I wonder how long the components last on those sub $1,000 bikes. I would almost rather build up something used if you have any, if you're handy at all. But there's a lot of YouTube videos about how to do that kind of stuff too and go step by step. Yeah, I know the used market is tough right now, but I don't see it going nuts, and everyone keeps saying it, but for like truly vintage stuff, I don't think it's that crazy. But I think trying to get a more recent, a true gravel bike that's used might be a little more difficult. Hey, what's up, Obsolescence? He says Highland Square had the option to pave over the bricks. They voted to keep them. Huh. Interesting. Matthew Bray says a really underrated brand of mountain bike from the 80s is that, with that chaotic geometry is Ross. Made on Long Island, came with some stock campy. Nice. What time is it? So one of the things I was going to try tonight and then hopefully try in general going forward was to do what we tried to do on Tuesday, which is to have members be live on the stream. But I decided instead of trying to do everyone at once, which I knew was going to be a little chaotic anyways, I just wanted to try it, is to do one at a time. So I talked to Large Marge about doing it tonight, because then it just, like you guys were all saying, do one-on-one first. It just narrows down what could be going wrong. So then I can know if it's my end or the other person's end, and hopefully have an easier process of elimination. Because plus there's, like I said, I hate conference calls. It's a pain. No one knows when to talk. So I talked to Dylan about maybe doing some stuff because I'm really interested in what he does for a living and his editing and his videography. And then as we looked at on Tuesday, his bikes are really rad. So I think we have a lot to talk about there. So I think we're going to see if we could get it, if Large Marge still wants to do it tonight, and see what happens when the two of us try it. The other problem I had is I wanted to like go through everyone's bikes together with him and more like co-host, since we already know each other. I don't need to interview him. You guys would be able to ask him any questions you wanted. The problem is Discord turns out to be kind of like, I don't know if you guys ever, when you had Facebook, tried to open multiple tabs of Facebook. It's almost too smart. It knows that you're doing two things at once. And that's the problem I ran into with Discord. So the workaround I thought about, but too late to do it, was to create a second Discord account, becoming a member of this server, then opening a different browser so I could then have whoever I'm interviewing on, in a window, and the Discord open in another window. So yeah, I know you guys are all talking about the gravel bikes too, which is totally cool. I'm just kind of rambling about my plans as well. Nicholas, kayaks down in Orlando, so that won't work. But Ohio City Bike Co-op is definitely a cool spot. Roger said his present gravel bike is an early Gary Fisher Marlin conversion. Nice. I'm all over the place here. Sorry, I'm sitting here reading. Yeah, Dylan was saying one thing about building up your own bike is there's a lot of specialty tools that can be expensive. I'm like I always say, I'm really lucky that Large Marge and the guy who owns the shop he works at have become really good friends, so I have access to that kind of stuff. A lot of shops, though, will charge you a nominal amount to turn a specialized tool. Like before Dirty River opened, where Large Marge works, there's a shop right here. And I would walk in and they'd be like, this is the price of the tool. This is what we'll charge you to crank that cassette down. You know what I mean? You could do a lot of stuff. that may not be recommended you can do without the specialized tools, especially if you're going vintage. Um, and then it's just like those finishing touches where you might need the actual right tool, you know. Yeah, I mean, so Matthew's talking about the brick street. I understand that you're not going to build new ones anymore. You're not going to make a cobbled road anymore, but to maintain the ones that are there seems to make sense. Yeah, bike co-ops, bike kitchens. Aaron was talking about those in the Crust video. Are good places because they might have a minimal fee, then have shop days, and there's usually people around who would help you out. Bike repair cafes. There's a lot of stuff like that. Gnarl said the only problem he ran into building up a 90s mountain bike is the 1 1/8 threaded headsets. Oh, I missed that. Nicholas is getting the Bridge Club. Nice. Yeah, there are a lot of options. Just you need to start doing the research, and hopefully, we're helping you think of some of the right questions to ask. That's a lot of the problem too. Is just if you don't know what to ask, you know. This, yeah. Thanks again, Roger. This is delicious. Check out the locksmith lore. Steal a bike. Hey, what's up, Jesus? Did I say hi yet? Red stick. Just steal a bike, just not mine. We got pictures of, before I try and get large margin here because I do not have it set up to go through everything. Should we look at, do bikes real quick and then try and get them to jump on here? Because this was, Dennis just scored this Trek for $50 an aluminum 1420 with the deepest drops any of us have ever seen. But that's $50. That's a great score right there. Then yeah, Rick was out in the sun the other day in Philly. I bet you're in the snow now though. And Dylan's Pain Cave. Got the wheel on trainer. I mean wheel, whatever you call that, not wheel on, the opposite of that. And then I assume that N-Toonie is Anthony, who just jumped in the Discord a couple days ago. Who's got his 82 Miata loaded up with some Fatheads and Great Lakes beer. So some local breweries around here with the side angle too. And the kid seat. Nice. Oh, large. I didn't know you guys got some. I assume it's Poile, as they're doing the French pronunciation. Did Rick finally tilt his saddleback? Oh yeah, Antonia is Nicholas. Gotcha. Yep. That's why I keep you guys around. Oh, and the way he supports his Dom key bag up at front there. Poile. Yep. Or you would say let? If it's like Velo Orange, I would assume the T is not pronounced. What's up, William? Thanks, man. Oh, then JMZ posted his bike. Is that a... So it's Specialized. Is that a Diverge? Isn't that their bike? That's their versatile bike packing gravel bike. Then he has a picture of it loaded, which looks awesome. Rock Brothers? That's the name of the bags? Wow, look at that one on the back. That's it. You can put a ton of stuff in there. JMZ wasn't here, right? I'd be interested in knowing how much that how much that long of a saddlebag does that like bounce around on you? Because if I choose to do bike packing on my rally, it seems like something like that might be a way to go. I got to imagine is there a frame in that at all? A Diverge. All right, yeah. Toilette. Well, I guess yeah, they do pronounce the T in toilette, which would be a French pronunciation. So maybe you guys are right. Rock Brothers is an Amazon brand. Patrick says Piolet. No, I've talked about that before too. I have Amazon stuff. My favorite winter tights I found happen to be an Amazon brand, and they totally work. And I've bought 5 more pairs of them. You know. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Obsolescence. We should just, I think separating out a bike packing section makes sense because I think we do have enough. Like we are posting enough and talking enough in the bike pics that could be a totally separate category that would be worth making. Yeah, we'll do that because I think a lot of us are really into that. Kayak asked if we're planning any trips, and me and Large Marge and my girlfriend and a couple friends are still planning some, but that's what we're debating. Do we do like Ohio to Erie and still leave from home, or do we drive somewhere and make it a little more risky? So we're still on the fence about that. We definitely want to do a lot of 1 or 2 overnighters from home and do a lot of short trips. We've talked about that for a while, but for a couple long ones, we haven't decided if we're going to go anywhere far yet. So. Oh man. What do you say, Large March? Should we see if we could pull you in here? Are you in a position to jump on? Let's see. See what happens. Oh, Obsolescence said cool bike packing on YouTube is how he found my channel. Nice. Pants. We'll find out. We'll find out if he jumps in. Large Marge was actually showing me how to get his GoPro to work because I haven't been able to get my GoPro to work as a webcam. I kind of wanted to set it up as a number 2, especially when we were doing stuff in the shop, which I keep saying I want to get back to so I could have the main camera on me and then maybe have the GoPro up closer to what I was actually working on. Oh, JMC said the Erie Canal video inspired you to get a bike packing bike. Nice. That's one of the trips we're debating, kayak too, is doing the Erie Canal trip, but the New York all the way into New York. Oh, it says it's locked? Let me see what. I just sent an invite. Let me try one more time. Now it says sent. Okay, it didn't. I must not have clicked it right. So see if that works now. What are you saying sorry for, Rick? Roger found it looking for gravel related. Yeah, it's you know, having bike packing in my title or gravel biking has had the biggest, like, those videos get the biggest views. But I also don't want to go the way of like clickbaiting because people would just be mad if they click and it doesn't have it's not actually about that. So, but that's definitely where the views are. I mean, it's a lot of us, it's what we're into, gravel and bike packing stuff. So, it keeps flashing for me. It invites Large Marge, but then it disappears. So, Large Marge, it looks like you're in general and not in the one labeled co-host. So, buy stock in gravel SEO. Right now, when you guys hear me talking, I don't hear any echo. I haven't put my headphones on yet, but because I do have the Discord open and. Oh, there we go. Large Marge, I think I got you in here. I just dragged you in. Cool videos keep coming back. I cannot wait to be able to make videos with friends again. Like over the summer when we could be outside. We weren't being as careful as we should be, I'll be honest, but we were not going in places. But to get other people riding, it's more fun to show, not just myself. So, yeah, I never thought I would do like all the vlogging stuff I'm doing now. I really didn't think that would ever be something. I didn't think I would talk to the camera the way I have been and making those videos. But it's like, if it's just me riding, I can't just show my wheels spinning in the snow every day. So I have to do something. Oh, there he is. Hey. Can't hear you yet.
Yo.
Oh, I got you. Let's see if it works. There we go.
I think I got it figured out.
It doesn't sound like you're echoing to me either. So.
Yeah, I didn't mute the YouTube.
Nice. So you guys saw a little bit last week, but this Large Marge. Oh, I didn't show your bike yet, but I don't think I have a way to because, like I said, if I open up another window of Discord, it kind of went crazy on me. I could try it, but
Give it a shot.
let's see.
Let's see what it does.
So see where I have Google Maps back there in the background. That's where I would do it. So yeah, we'll see what happens if it cuts you off. We'll start over and bring it back now that we do know this is working. And also notice how I was able to crop just so we got Large Marge and not all the junk around the sides. But yeah, I'll see what happens. Where is that window? I've got so many windows open to manage now. But yeah. All right, so far so good. So do shrink you down a little bit here. They said speak up.
How's my audio?
Pudgy said to speak up. Oh, Jesus said he has a sweet single speed build. That's what we're about to look at here. So see if we could, yeah. I got to see it tonight. I stopped in the shop, so. So what? Go through your bike, man. So our large Marge. Even harder, even harder to call you Large Marge when I could see your face. So, go ahead.
So I got a Salsa Storm Chaser frame and fork last March, April, I think, that I've been sitting on for almost a year now. Got it in, planning to build it up, and then the bike boom happened. So yeah, we had like no time at all to build it up at the shop, and finally got around to doing it. So yeah, build up some wheels, Velocity Blunt SS. That was my first wheel build. That was pretty fun. Otis and Yonda definitely helped me out quite a bit, but a little bit easier than I thought.
Nice.
Still not the easiest thing. But yeah, just been piecing together parts and stuff. And luckily, being fixed gear, there's not a ton of stuff to buy for it. So once we got those wheels together, it came together pretty quickly. Haven't ridden it yet.
I got to see it in the. I got to see it in the shop today, and I lifted it up. Well, you said it weighed 18 pounds.
Yeah, 18 and a half.
18. You would when you look at it in person, like I was saying, you got the Terravale Cannonballs, and you look at a bike with like those tires, and it doesn't look like it's gonna be that light. And when I picked it up, it was really it just kind of messes with my mind. It just doesn't look like such a light bike, you know. See your other photo here.
Yeah, it's kind of deceiving with those big tires.
So, whoops. One thing we were talking about too is he was saying he needs to find plugs for the brakes and stuff like that because he went totally brakeless since it is fixed, which also gives it such a cool, clean look, you know. What are your? I don't think I actually realized what. I can't remember what wheels you build up. So what are the hubs in the wheel set?
The hubs are Paul hubs, fixed disc word hubs. The rims are Velocity Blunt SS rims. More of a mountain bike rim, a little bit wider.
Rick Urbanovsky super
nice,
chatted
pretty bomb-proof.
$5. Do I have to pay
I did them with
$5 a
32
month now too?
spokes, so
Balls.
should be able to take quite a beating.
I'm laughing at Rick's super chat where he said, "Do I have to pay Large Marge $5 a month now too?" Balls. Let's get this shot up. Blunt SS, yeah, those are awesome. Let's see. Pudgy said Blunt SS rims are kind of stupid light.
Yeah, it's also tubeless. We'll see how that goes being fixed gear with all the skidding and stuff. Could be a very bad idea.
So what do you think? I mean, obviously, whenever I build a bike, I don't really know what my intentions are going to end up being. Like sometimes I have them and sometimes it turns out different. So are you just kind of thinking like for fun, like riding to work, hitting some of the flat gravel trails we ride, like I always say industrial gravel type trails, or do you have something in mind for what you think you'll use this for?
Yeah, pretty much a lot of gravel stuff, but like any bike I have, I'm sure I'll ride it everywhere.
Yeah. It is so sharp.
Yeah, I really like it. My first salsa.
Yeah, and I'm not used to seeing. Well, I don't think it's super common, anyways. But like a bigger, beefier bike, fixed. Like so there's just no extra stuff on it. It just looks so clean.
Yeah. So the plan with that is like I want to try it out fixed, but the nice thing about this frame is I can throw a derailleur hanger on it and ride it with gears. So once I get tired of riding it fixed or my knees don't want to hold up anymore, which is a very strong possibility, I can just throw some gears on it and brakes, and should be a whole different bike.
Couple questions. Well, Pudgy said he loves the Blunt SS. Then he also said, so talk about those cranks. Where was my crank?
Oh, yeah. I kind of just went with those because that's what I run on my Gorilla Monsoon. And I know they can take a beating. I'm pretty rough on my stuff. So that and being able to change out chain rings too. I got the same chain rings on both the Gorilla Monsoon and the Cannondale. So playing around with different tooth counts and stuff, yeah, might be a little bit easier than doing like a different thing for every bike. A little more interchangeable.
Patrick asked, he was wondering how you're getting chain tension. He said he can't see how you're pulling that off. Oh, yeah, because it's not a sliding dropout, so.
Yeah, they are sliding actually.
Oh, it's on the inside.
Yeah, they're hidden, but yeah, it's kind of cool.
I did notice that actually in the shop. I just kind of forgot about it. So, is it those two hex bolts then? You pull it back in place and tighten it down with those?
Yeah, those two that you see there, you loosen those, and then there's another one that goes in from the back that you can't see in this photo. That you actually tighten or loosen depending on what you need to do.
Oh, cool. Let's see. William said the bike looks awesome. The gold color reminds me of Dave Mira Gold Harrow. Oh, Kayak said he can't hear you.
Can't hear me at all?
Let's see. I know everyone said a few people said to speak up, but I'm guessing you're probably just coming in a little quiet. See if
this is just my my Mac desktop microphone.
I'm not sure. Oh, I could. You know what? I could bump up desktop audio. Oh, say something again now. Say what's up.
Check.
That probably helped. I think I needed to bump up the desktop audio. I had it down from doing YouTube videos when I play them. Matthew Bray says that bike is glorious. Pudgy said he could hear you, but you're quiet. I think I just bumped you way up, so we should be good. So, Pudgy also said, what about, he said he's not familiar with the brand of the cranks.
Oh, IRD, they're I think they're like a sister company to Soma, if you know them. Soma Fabrication.
Oh, yeah, they said they could hear you now. I bumped you up way better. Great.
Cool.
Yeah, because IRD, what? I'm trying to think if me or Aaron has something IRD. That sounds so familiar to me. I've heard of them, but I don't know what I have seen or what I have by them. Yeah.
Yeah, they do random components, but.
What did you say? Did you say what ratio you're running on this? I know you did last week when it was chaos. I can't remember if you did tonight.
Yeah, I think I was planning on doing 40-16. Right now I got 38 chainring on there. 38-16, but I'll play around with the rear cog as I need to.
What were you running when we met on your fixed gear?
Yeah, that was 44-14.
Jeez.
That was a little rough after a few years.
Yeah, I could imagine. Like I've said before, it actually blew my mind when we used to ride up stuff like Hickory, like the way I went today, and you were able to keep it going, and I could barely keep it going in my on my when I had like my vintage Peugeot build up and stuff, whatever. I think even in easier gear ratios than that, but yeah, I can imagine
Yeah.
how that wears on your knees after a while.
Yeah, it definitely can. Hills and skidding will tear them up.
See what
This
it's.
bigger tires now too. That probably won't help. It's a lot more rubber to
Oh
have to
yeah,
stop.
yeah. That'll be interesting to see. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be something you would be trying to like rip around on the road anyways. But yeah, if you're trying to do the classic fixie braking with, is there a name for that where you're like where you kind of lock the pedals as like a, when you watch like, I don't know. I'm not a track bike guy, but when you watch like when you kind of slow the pedals down and skid the tire, is there like a term for
Yeah,
that?
just it's just called skid stopping, I think.
Skid stopping. Yeah.
Skidding.
Pudgy asked, "Are the Stormies the same geometry as the Warbird, or more like the J-Man, Journeyman?"
I think they're more like the Warbird. I'll have to do a little more research, but I'm pretty sure more towards the Warbird side of things. What's
well-
up, Yonda?
Oh, is Yonda in here? Skids. Yeah, what you guys? I remember when you scooped this up. Were these just like fairly limited editions? Because I remember you grabbed one, but I've never seen another one. Were they just? Is it just because the way everything is now, or was it just Is it a less produced bike?
They were pretty limited quantities. Yeah, and it was the middle of the bike boom there, or I guess more towards the start of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we only were able to get, I think we only got one, and then a couple weeks later they put out a few more frames, and one of them was my size, and it was right when we got I think it was our first stimulus check.
That's right.
And I told Otis, if that thing's still there tomorrow, I think I'm gonna get it, and it was. So
Nice.
I got lucky.
Yeah, let's see. Pudgy said that's what he thought, more like the Warbird.
Yeah.
Hasty says dropping a fat skid. Broadford called it super sick skids. Yonda said Warbird, 50% more tire clearance. So does he mean your bike
Yeah.
has 50% more? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of clearance.
And Pudgy said everything in the bike industry in 2020 was limited edition. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Or now a 2021 model, right? Weren't you
Yeah,
guys saying
pretty
stuff
much.
you ordered isn't coming until fall that was supposed to be here in the spring? Or
To a point, even some of so we are a dealer of GT, like mountain bikes, and the bikes that we ordered from them, I'd say at least 6 months ago, we're not getting until November of 2023.
2023?
Yeah,
Oh
is
my God.
the last estimate we got. So
Wow.
they're just, yeah, so backed up.
What is Dylan said the people need a Kayo spin on the gravel. Do you know what that means?
I don't
Kayo?
think I do. No,
I don't know. If,
Kayo.
I don't know if it's a typo or if you're just going over our heads and our bike knowledge here. Some fixie term, maybe track bike term.
It could be. I don't know.
Yeah, should be getting. Seems like we will get another stimulus check. I don't know what it's going to be for. Funny thing with me is, I'm hoping we get one because I'm going to use it to pay my taxes. Because since I'm self-employed, I just pay taxes. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pudgy said if you want that salsa saddle, it's yours. I don't know if this is a conversation you guys were already having.
Yeah, he sent me a photo or two of a WTB, I think, salsa branded saddle. Has like the chili pepper on it. Pretty
Oh,
cool looking.
I think I've seen those. Fish and chips. Oh, Kaya was an early, they said one of the early, I don't know my freestyle tricks, so he must have been, let's see, he was one of the early fixed freestyle guys. Okay.
Uh,
I'm surprised I don't recognize his name when Terry B had the guy from Bicycle Film Festival on the morning routine the other day, and they were talking about a lot of the early freestyle stuff. They were talking about Matt Reyes but the guys who had really kind of started it, who were building up the bikes originally, and they were breaking the frames and trying to get someone to build them. But I bet they were probably mentioning him in there. But that's not my scene at all. I mean, I never even, if it wasn't for Lucas Brunel, I wouldn't even have ever been familiar with the messenger scene or anything like that. It was all line of sight and seeing that stuff. And my friend Dave, who was really into watching all those YouTube videos of the guys bombing around New York City. But all I did was ride a mountain bike. I had no idea. So I'm not like I know like pro bike history, and now I've learned a lot more about stuff, but the freestyle fixed gear track bike stuff is not my expertise at all. I was zooming in here to see so that's a Thompson seat post. What are they, is that like the layback style? Is that what they call that with the bend in the post, or
yeah, call it a setback.
setback?
Which
Yeah.
that one was just one we kind of had laying around the shop, and it is a little bit too short. Where I have it now is at the max height, and I think I need to run it up a little bit more. So I might have to get a different one. I'd like to get a matching stem too,
Oh,
Thompson stem, just to keep it equalized. But
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, good. What is that frame size? Because
I believe it's a 54 and a half. Those bikes run really small though.
yeah, because it looks like you got a decent stack on there, and the saddle's almost even with the bars. So I guess it
Yeah.
is made to be a little bit aggressive, huh? Because if you didn't have that
Yeah.
stack on there and you had a longer saddle, that would almost look like a race bike drop, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, Dylan mentioned Macaframa and Mash videos. I watched those back in the day. Didn't know any of their names, so there was a dude around the same time frame. I think Masan SF. That's like the one dude that I kind of followed by name.
Yeah, that's more of the stuff I've now learned about just from following Terry B and some of the other stuff that's out there on YouTube that I've gotten into, but I didn't. I was complete. And Dustin Klein, I think, wasn't he involved in some of those early videos? But
Yeah, which I didn't realize that until he did that interview, I think, with Terry.
yeah. Oh, so yeah, talking about freestyle tricks, even the fish and chips is a freestyle trick. Well, I forget too. Pudgy does. Did I don't even know the right terminology, but I've seen him post the pictures of him on the ramps doing freestyle. But that was more like what I used to consider freestyle and BMX bikes, whereas now these new like fixed gear bikes they look much bigger. You know what I mean? I don't know what they call that subset of freestyle bike, but they don't look like what I grew up with. Like my neighbor was sponsored by Eddie's Bike Shop as a freestyle rider, but those basically look like BMX bikes. You know what I mean? When it came to size and geometry. But now what you see, like all the stuff Matt Reyes is filming, Slumworm or whatever, those are like that's like a totally different thing, right?
Yeah. Now they're fixed gear freestyle. There's like, I haven't really been following them super close the last few years, but there's like track bikes, there's fixies, fixed gear freestyles, which is more of like, I'd say BMX type stuff, but on a fixed gear, which is pretty crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do a wheelie or bunny hop or any of that stuff on a regular bike, let alone a fixed gear.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's what Dylan said. Everybody rode track bikes, and now they all ride gravel bikes, and that's totally true. I think.
yeah,
I think it's like. I mean, I know there's some people who've stuck to that stuff, or they keep their track bike as their city town bike or whatever. But I think the reason is because it makes sense, and you get older, right? I mean, like I said, Ben rode a fixie when we met, but you're like, now we want to ride everywhere we can. And when we met, I was riding first a mountain bike, but then vintage bikes, and he was riding his fixie, and we're riding on super narrow in the 20s tires. And then we find all these cool places we want to explore, and we're just getting beat up. I didn't even know what a gravel bike was, but then it just made sense to get your tires wider and wider so you could ride where you want to ride, you know.
yeah. And that was, well, at least back then. Now there's track lacrosse, which fixed gear that fits a bigger tire. But back then, like most of those fixed specific frames, the biggest you could fit was like a 30. Where that's why I'm kind of excited to try this thing out. Be a much bigger tire, but we'll see.
Yeah, I remember you put that one to get a grippier tire on your fixie that had like some knobs on it, and then I think we were out riding and it was actually rubbing somewhere on your frame. I can't remember, but
Yeah,
let's see what everyone's saying. Mazzy says fixed freestyle was tied into street culture, messenger, skateboarding, illegal track races. Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab another beer.
All right. I wonder if I could maximize myself when that happens. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Yeah, no, I'm interested in learning about all this stuff. It's because, there's just a whole, it's just not stuff I followed. I'm just, like I said, I was not a cyclist. Like, I never considered myself a cyclist. I didn't consider it part of my identity. I was the guy who owned a bike and loved to ride bikes. I'm still in a way that, but it's just as you meet more friends who are into bikes and I watch more bike content, I like everything about bikes. I grew up with my older brother being, he was a triathlete, but he always loved like watching the Tour de France and all that kind of stuff. And so I always, I watched Greg LeMond and stuff like that. And then later Lance Armstrong. And just when, pro cycling got popular finally in the US and stuff like that. But it was never who I thought I was. I never owned a cap. You know what I mean? I didn't even wear a helmet. We wore baseball hats. I mean, I never, Rick asked if you wrote it yet. He also asked if you had bag plans for it. I assume you're probably not planning to put a bunch of bags on it right away in this setup, but I could see that it's got tons of mounts,
Yeah. Right now, I'll probably keep it naked, but yeah, that's part of the reason why I got this frame is because it has all the mounts. So I would like to try like an overnighter or a couple of day trip on it, set up like it is, maybe do some anything cage mounts on the fork and like a big saddlebag. But yeah, see how it goes.
Yeah. Do you have the chat up here, Large Marge? Are you able to see it?
Yeah.
Because then I could take a beer piddle break.
Yeah.
I've never said piddle in my life until Pudgy started using that. I was looking at someone was talking about what they're riding, is it in the terms of a freestyle bike, and now I've lost. Ride an early fixed freestyle frame in the street, essentially a 700C BMX, Brooklyn Machine Works, Gangsta Track. Yeah, I've seen those Brooklyn Machine Works, right?
Yeah, those are cool. Yeah, Rick asked if I wrote it yet. I have not. So the bike that I've been commuting on to and from work recently has flat pedals on it because of all the snow we've had. So I haven't had my clipless setup, my shoes at work. So I just took them there this morning, but I still haven't gotten to even ride it around the block or anything yet. But hopefully tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. Matthew was saying if I've seen him on Terry's stream. That's right. I have seen some of your stuff. That's for sure. Like you guys all know, I get confused with names, and like there's a lot of names, especially with now the online community. I'm starting to get used to well, I'm very used to the regulars we have over here, but a lot of us talk on Terry's stuff, but there's just a lot of names out there, and names are my weak point, anyways. Pudgy said, "Nice. Would love to have an OG BMW track bike." Roger asked if someone said naked.
Yes. I think you should play that new video you made up just for, I've never said this word either, piddling.
Oh yeah, play the piddling vid. I don't have us on the. It is 10 o'clock is time for the piddling vid. Do you want to come back on after and chat a little more, or do you want to just go into the text chat?
It doesn't matter either way. You can pull me in and out.
All right. All right. Piddle break time. We'll see how this works getting everything back going after that.
We are going to take a quick break here. Let's first thank the members, though. They really do help make this channel better in every way. If you want to add your name to this list, there is a link in the chat right now and also below this video.
You don't have to.
It is really appreciated. Like I said, it will help make the channel better in every way, but you also do get some special perks. There are extra videos, more content, discount on swag, and a few other things. Check out the link if you're interested. We do appreciate any support here, though, so if you're just tuning in to watch for a little while, hit the like button. They say it helps out. But yeah, any kind of support, whether you've ever, bought a piece of swag, done a super chat, but even just watching is good enough. I appreciate it. I really have fun doing this, so I'm glad we have a little community here. Also, take this chance again to say join us in the Discord. That's become a really cool thing, too. We'll be back in about a minute, but one more time, thanks to the members.
What's up? I think we're back. Yeah, I forgot that I put a voiceover in that video and then I'm talking. And I'm like, because I can't, for some reason, it doesn't let me hear those videos. Like my intro, my outro, I can't hear them. I know they're there and I can see the things bouncing, but so I never know what's going on with that. But just one of the interesting quirks of live streaming. Rick said, "Do you think your urine cycles will become I don't even know how to say that." The piddler mission. No, that was
good. There's some gems in there.
Yeah, there are. Gluten-free piddle. Let's what were they? The freestyle bikes, Brooklyn Machine. Oh, what's up, Jay Dandy? Didn't see you jumped in here. Look up some of those, right? Works? Is it Brooklyn Machine Works? Oh, they do mountain bikes too? This is more what I would be picturing, right?
Sorry, you're a little delayed on the
Oh,
video.
oh, that's right, because you're watching the YouTubes.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually haven't completely forgot about those. That brand. Yeah, this one is what that's how I remember them. I don't remember mountain bikes.
Pudgy said they're not really around anymore.
Mm.
But then Jesus said they are. But he could be talking about Dylan's comment of squid bikes are really hot right now. Do you guys have a couple squid bikes at the shop, or what are those freestyle bikes you guys got?
We don't have squid bikes. We had some real cheap like coaster brake bikes, but
Oh, that's what they were.
yeah. Squid, their stuff looks pretty cool. I like their they make Dickies with a cami, like Dickie shorts or Dickie pants, but they sew in their own camis.
Oh, really?
I've wanted to try those out.
That cannot be a cheap bike there with the zip wheels and
Yeah,
that's like a full on gravel build right there. That's a SRAM build. There's more of like a flat bar fixed bike. Still, wow, that's pretty. They're smaller.
Yeah.
Are they more of like a custom brand? They're pretty small, aren't they?
kind of. They're like I'd say a medium small, like small place. Yeah, they're track lacrosse. I think it's called the So Easy, maybe. But Squid also they do the spray dot bike. I don't know. Have you?
Oh, yeah. That's right. Because I have that pink because I want to pink out some of the components on my road bike, my Schwinn Peloton.
Yeah, we I think we're still a spray dot bike dealer. We had a bunch of their stuff in to do kind of some personal stuff, and then a customer wanted a bike painted. But
Yeah, really cool
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah, the spray paint, like if anyone's ever thinking about doing their own paint job, it's very, very easy to work with. I'd recommend it.
Yeah, our friend Mike Maris, he painted his own bike and did some like a lot of stenciling on it. It came out really nice. Granted, he's already an artist, but it still wouldn't be. I'm sure the paint too had a factor in making it work out.
Yeah,
Yeah, their cross bike is $1,800 for the frame.
yeah, yeah. They're, I mean, not the most expensive, not the cheapest, but they seem nice. Actually, one of the riders for Squid, Sammy Reynolds, who also did a lot of cross racing last year. I don't think she has this year with COVID, but actually got to ride with her a little bit in Mid South, which was pretty cool. Like seeing this badass cyclocross racer that I'd seen do like World Cup races and all these big pro races, and you're riding with like next to him at a gravel race. Pretty cool.
A gravel race and the last gravel race.
Yeah. Yeah, the organizer Bobby said his quote like the night before was, "This is something to the effect of, this is the last bike race ever," or something. Just joking, but not knowing that it was kind of true.
Yeah. What did you said they did? They tried to do like a virtual thing this year with that, because didn't that, or is that going to be that, or is that the same day as Road Apple Roubaix?
No, it's just the week after.
Oh.
So yeah, they're doing it. They're calling it the incredibly distanced Mid-South. So they actually got, I think it's like 10 bike shops across the country to like make their own 100-mile route. And then people that are signed up that can't go to those are just supposed to ride like 100 miles on their own that weekend. So it's it's not like it would be, but the nice thing is everyone was signed up this year is getting to do it for free next year if they want to. So if that happens in Oklahoma, like everyone that signed up will be able to do that, like not for free, but they'll have a guaranteed spot.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
What are they talking about? The Tarkwood looks sick, not gonna lie. Then Pudgy said Doc owned it. Is he talking about Squid? Doc owned it back in their mountain bike heyday, but Farrell, however you say his name, bought them out.
For real?
For real?
I think he's talking about Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I was gonna say. Rick said old shovel is a good inspiration for DIY paint.
I think that's another YouTuber, right?
Ah,
right,
okay.
Rick.
There's a lot of the videos that everyone's been posted that I'm looking forward to watching this weekend, but I haven't seen a lot of them. But even the one you posted about going for the KOM and Flanders, but yeah, a lot of cool stuff. That section of this Discord has been one of my favorite things because people have posted a lot of stuff I wasn't familiar with. Like I know you have already watched a lot of what you've already are the one who turned me on to Decline and Terry, I believe, but a lot of the other stuff that I've been finding too.
Yeah, shout out to Terry.
Oh, you got the shirt on? Yeah.
Yeah. I got my headphones in. Yeah.
Kayak was asking how much Mid-South costs. Like, do you remember what the entrance fee was?
I don't remember. It wasn't cheap. I feel like it's like $100 or more. But it's fun. Like non-COVID times, you're riding with 2,000 people on this epic Oklahoma ride. And if the weather's like, you don't know what the weather's going to be, but if it's wet at all, that mud is just insane.
Trying to find your YouTube channel. Of course, this is what comes up. Because he had some good Mid-South footage in the... Oh, there we go. Yeah, because in general, it's usually dry, right? But the year you rode it, it just happened to be super wet. And pretty much everybody's bike, including yours, fell apart and very few people even finished it, right?
Yeah, I think there was like a
See you, Roger.
20 or 30% finish rate. Something like that.
Summit and Roger out. Say goodbye to those guys.
Later, dude.
Yeah, it was. Let's see. Kayak asked if it's worth $100. I mean, I think you would say, yeah, in a normal year, right? Would you say even in the year you did it?
Yeah, even in the year I did it, even with me not finishing it, because my bike my chain snapped, my derailleur got all messed up. But yeah, even though I made it to a little bit less than halfway on it, like I loved it. Like, I was having so much fun. My bike didn't hold up, but it was the best time ever.
There we
And
go. That's what it looked like right there. What's on the screen right now. So
yeah, but I think it depends, you know, like the people that I went out there with too were all awesome people, and like everyone out there is really cool. So yeah, I'd recommend doing it if you can at some point. Like, definitely not the easiest thing, but yeah, if it's dry, like not that bad. There's not that much elevation or anything. Still 100 miles, which is not an easy thing to do, but
and,
yeah, I'd say if you can get out there and do it, definitely
yeah,
go try it.
and I don't remember what something like Black Fork cost, but I mean, it wasn't that much cheaper, right? It had to be in the $60-$70 range, I think. But
Yeah, I think so.
you got to remember, you know, they have to staff these things. They have to make the routes. You usually get a shirt, a beer, a meal, aid stops, and so you look at if you went for a 100-mile ride on your own day, you're already going to be like 30 in. If you go and buy someone's T-shirt, like $15. So to me, they're once you start to break it down, it's totally worth it. They printed out numbers, they printed out timing chips. They hired, they have bands playing, so it's a whole
Yeah.
thing, it's
The thing about, at least when I did it too, is they had a whole crew of, I don't know if they paid them, but this whole crew of volunteers, of people driving these like crazy Jeeps, like off-road vehicles that were literally all day just going around picking up people that their bikes had broke or they couldn't finish or whatever, like literally all day. And these people covered in mud, like, so I'm sure they gave those people something too, but that was like a whole full-time thing right there. Like, that in itself was worth $100 to have this backup plan where, if I get into some gnarly stuff and can't make it back, like, that's my way back right there.
yeah, you're not stuck out in the
Pretty cool.
middle of the yeah. See what else some of these guys are talking about. I think they're having a good bike conversation about freestyle bikes.
Yonda says he's $420 for an event. So that's a steal.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nuts, Matthew. Just watching Ben's footage, but hearing Large Marge's footage, but hearing the stories have been pretty intense. Did you freeze on me? Let's see what's. Large Marge is entirely frozen. Let's see what Yeah, kind of lost him there. Yeah, I think I can't remember how many people Large Marge went out with, but only I think one from their group finished, and said he's as tough as anyone I know. Not someone who's just going to give up on a ride. So pretty impressive. So I wonder if his laptop died. He's completely not on the thing at all anymore. Vermont Overland. I've watched a couple videos about that too. Yeah, we lost him. I missed Rick's message before he retracted it. I did want to look on the I put up a poll earlier about what kind of pedals people wrote. I was just curious what kind of answers we would get on that. Let's see if I could pull that back up. Oh, the community tab. So yeah, these kind of Google kind of are YouTube algorithms, this stuff. So you may have seen it and you may have not. But out of the 22 people who voted so far on what kind of pedals you ride, 55% said clipless, 9% said cages and straps, and 36% said flats. But a lot of people commented saying it just depends on what bike they're riding, which is true for me too, because I ride my, gravel bike and my winter bike with flats, but in the summer I almost always ride straps or cages on my vintage bikes. Large Marge is still here. He said Discord quit on him. Yeah, your name just disappeared from the Discord completely for some reason. Maybe they have a limit like Zoom. Zoom only gives you an hour, and that would have been, 10, 15? Yep. I bet that, because Discord, like everybody else, they're a business, so you could pay to upgrade stuff. And I'm guessing that's probably what happened. We hit the time limit on the interview, which is good to know for the future. So we have an hour on that stuff. So let's see where we are. Got a weird notification in my ear too. Kayak asked me a question. Have I ever been to Patagonia, Argentina? No. I've never been to South America, period. The closest I've been is an island north of there. What is that, Aruba? Yeah. Jesus misses large already. You can't see the community tabs? So it should be, if you go to the, I could show it here, right? Let's see. Oh, that's the wrong window, but it should still work once I figure out which window that is. So let me shrink this one. So yeah, community is right here. So that's where the posts are. So if you go there, you could see all the posts. They pop up in your feed randomly, especially if you're scrolling through on a phone, they will show up. They're kind of like stories or shorts or any of that stuff YouTube has added. They're kind of random. But if you go specifically to the community, then you could see all the posts. So, and then that's also, if you happen to be a member, that's where all the members' benefits are in there. So. I need to close that window. Sorry, guys. Yeah, the community tab appears once you get, where's that window again? 1,000 subscribers, you get to have that in the memberships. So. All right. I think, oh, Broadford said, you're saying you don't see it either? Oh, Broadford is the one who said he can't see community tabs. It shows up on my phone, but again, it's my page. So if that's the way it's hard for me to say if, that's what it is. Yeah, it should work on apps. The other thing is, even on your phone, and remember this with not just YouTube, but anything you're trying to do, you could still just open a browser and go to an actual website. And I do that all the time with different apps that don't have the web features I want. And then it usually looks better to pull your put your phone horizontal if you're trying to use a regular website. So. Matt's out of here. Hey, Matt, thanks for stopping by. Sorry I forgot your name, but I do remember what you're riding, what you have going on now. Thanks, man. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it. Is there a piddle tab? I'm just going to thank the members over and over again every time I have to piddle. But also, Broadford, I think it should be on everything. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Apple, but the one thing I use by them is the iPhone, and it's on there. So I don't know if there's a difference between what you're using, but it should be there. There should be a community tab. There's actually more features on YouTube right now on the mobile than there are on the desktop. Some stuff shows up on desktop, but like the new shorts thing, which I was going to bring up anyways, I'm going to try some of these shorts. It's basically YouTube is trying to rip off TikTok so they don't get overrun by TikTok with people who only use phones. And so they have this shorts thing and they're really trying to push it, but it's really good for getting discovered. So I was thinking of taking some of my old videos and cutting them into 60 seconds to make them like that real fast thing about some of the vintage bikes. So if you guys do see some of that popping up on the channel, it's because I'm testing it out to see what effect it has. But I don't look at YouTube on my phone, very rarely. Like I have, a Fire TV here, or I do it when I'm working because I have two screens here. So if Terry Berenson's live, I'll have him here or here, and I'm working on the other screen. But yeah, but it's just the people are saying that since they're pushing it so hard, it just can help draw traffic to, if people are into the same kind of stuff as you. So it's worth a try, I'm like, I don't, as much as it's like nice to have people watch your stuff, like I kind of like how we have this community. It's cool if we grow to a point, but I also, if you blow up so much, then it's probably it's hard to maintain any kind of relationship with people. Like, if you comment on a giant YouTuber's video because you have something totally relevant, they're not going to see it, right? So, industrial piddle shirt, yellow naturally, yeah. Do you even piddle bra? Checking out that. I acknowledge the piddle shirt. You guys are delayed, so. Like I was saying to you, I think I brought this up on Tuesday too. It's pretty interesting. So watching in my software where the overlay of the chat is actually pops up faster in my overlay than it does in the direct YouTube chat by like 2 seconds. But yeah, so it's weird. It goes to a third party and I could see it faster here than over here. But Russ comments on a lot of stuff. I think he must and I think it's what you have to do when you're a bigger YouTuber. You must like schedule time to respond. But a pathless pedaled. But I've typed a couple things that were relevant and he's like commented on them. But it seems like he's someone who's better off staying out of the comments, because if you've seen his videos lately, he comes on like kind of angry. He comes on with all these caveats before he makes his video about what he knows people are going to comment. So he's probably better off ignoring the comments. I mean, some people get too upset by them. I mean, we don't have that many trolls here yet because we're too small, but we've seen some trolls jump in here, and then you guys have seen me do a rant, but it's how I feel anyways. But I think it's a true thing, like, one, don't feed the trolls, but, if it's someone who just disagrees with you, to me, it's worth having a discussion. And even if it's an argument, that's not the end of the world. I'm not, like, against, like, disagreeing with people. I mean, it doesn't mean you're not friends. I mean, some of my best friends, we used to, get in big arguments about music or whatever it may be. Like even on Tuesday, we don't all agree on everything. We all still hang out, right? So you know, I have. There's a big difference between a troll, you know, and someone who's just like writing a different opinion. You know, if I make a video about like I did about the gate straps that I really like riding in, and someone was like, the reasons I don't like these are this. That's, you know, are these things. Like that's totally cool. If someone's like, you're an N-word, that's a whole nother, you know. Jay Dandy said Russ is sensitive. Yeah, and Russ is going through a rough time. His wife has breast cancer, you know, and stuff like that. And I think his channel is getting to the level where there are just trolls, you know, like where he's getting people who are just trying to get a rise out of him. They're trolls, but they're disguising it as like making something legitimate, but attacking them. But yeah, it's got to be tough. Wait, where did I missed that comment? Yeah, Pudgy's all phone, so he would know all about the way YouTube looks that way, which I know we always talk about, but it just blows my mind that you go straight phone. I can't. It's like some things like stuff like TikTok that's only ever been designed for a phone, or Instagram that's only ever been designed for a phone. I'm totally cool with, but man, I cannot be productive on a phone. So do you know Phil Bloom? He rises to the date consistently. I don't know Phil Bloom. Rick's jumping in on Pudgy for the phone thing. Yeah. Large March says he could finally get the pants off. I can never get far enough away, but I actually usually wear shorts while I'm doing this. But I was out riding right before this, so I think I mentioned that because, yeah, I was actually photographing, so I went to that Knight Foundation house I went before and got some photos over there of the renovation process. Then I took some photos of some coffee bags for our friend Albert, who's jumped in here a couple times, and then went over to the bike shop, dropped off some beer for Ben and Otis, and got to see Ben's new bike in person. That's when I was checking it out. Philip Bloom, you don't know his videos. He's a photo guy, bud. Worth a watch. There's a lot of photo guys out there. I'll check it out. I'll actually write it down. Like I always do when you guys mention something cool on this. Philip Bloom. I'm like a true, and I found out this is like not the way even like people who watch a lot of YouTube do. Like I find stuff and subscribe to it, and like when I turn on my TV, I go to my subscription page, and I watch like the stuff. And I have some nerdy history stuff, some nerdy photography stuff, nerdy garden stuff, nerdy bike stuff, and nerdy beer stuff. And it's like there's only so much, you know what I mean, you can watch. So I'm like usually pretty comfortable with the subscriptions I have, and then once in a while I use YouTube in the old school way where it's like I'm trying to fix something, and so I'm just like, it's the search engine way, which is where a lot of people you find like your discoverability is as a channel now. I'm learning as someone types, like we were talking about gravel bike or bike packing or cyclo touring, but yeah, so it's like it's kind of like I use it in a different way than a lot of people. I'm very like, I found this guy at one point and now he's my photo guy I watch, you know. But yeah, he's one of the bigger ones. Yeah, never heard of him. A great videographer from England. Maybe I do recognize his face. Let me take a look. A lot of the US guys all know each other. They're all at the same Sony events, and no, never seen that guy's face before in my life. Seriously, I haven't. Yeah, over 200,000 subscribers, and I have not seen his stuff. Yeah, I'll check it out for sure. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I'm always up for finding new cool stuff too. Well, a lot of the things too, like the photography stuff I'm trying to watch is either like news related. So I like to keep up on everything that's happening with the tech. A lot of it's tutorial based. So it's like, and you know, and not to be cocky, I've been a pro for years. I don't need the basics. I need like how to do some stuff that I don't know how to do. So it's like that kind of stuff. And I'm not, you know, I like to shoot film. So I have a couple film guys, but like, I'm not super like artsy with my photographer, like photography. That's what I do with my film stuff. But so I'm not watching like advice on how to take the best landscape or the best architectural photography. I do that stuff as a hobby, but like, you know, I shoot professional portraits. I shoot a lot of products where like retouching is important. And if Adobe comes out with new ways to cut out the background or to retouch something, like that's like my primary interest. And same with videography. I'm like, how can I get into After Effects and learn After Effects better? How can I edit faster in Premiere Pro? Because I'm always making these videos, so I want to know shortcuts and things that make everything easier. So a lot of my stuff is like hyper nerdy stuff and a little bit less entertainment stuff when it comes to photography. But, you know, see where you guys are at. Rick said Bloom was stressing hard over COVID and you recommended he buy a bike. He's no Dylan Cass. Nice. Get out of the bathroom and watch some vids. Steven says I watch more YouTube than regular TV. I don't have regular TV. When it comes to like video, I only watch YouTube, and then I have Flow Bikes for professional racing, and NBC Sports Gold, which is going to go away, but they have the Tour de France and Paris-Roubaix and the Vuelta, as the British say. So, yeah, if I'm not watching in the morning, I have, like during the season, I have professional bike racing on. If I sit down for lunch or dinner, it's YouTube. That's all I watch. My battery died. Yeah, I've never been big into like escapism stuff anyways. Let's see if we get that back. Like I ended up watching The Mandalorian and stuff like that with my girlfriend, but there we go. But on my own, I would never watch it. People always recommend stuff to me. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I'll never watch that. And it's not that I don't think it's going to be good. It's no offense. It's just I would rather watch like history documentaries. I want to learn stuff. And I don't say this from some high end mighty position. It's not. It's just like that's who I am. Like I like to read. I like to, you know, learn something. And if I'm not doing that, I'm working on stuff like this. So Rick, I started off this show saying that I bought an AC adapter for this camera because of your motivation. Oh, Jesus says, is Bike Beer's camera's getting a sticker at some point? Yes, that is my next thing. And I'm going to actually do a run of them, so it's not the print on demand thing, so I'll have them. And like I mentioned, every single member is getting one for free, but they shouldn't be expensive even for everyone else anyways. I'm going to try and, our friend, I'm trying to think of what he uses as a YouTube name because I'm trying to stick to that. But my friend Pat gave me a couple really good links for deals on quality stickers. And I want to print them on clear backgrounds. I want to do stickers on clear backgrounds because, one, I like bikes for stuff I want to stick on my bike. I like the clear background, but see where you guys are making fun of me now. Yeah, Ben said Large Marge said he took his TV to the bike shop. Yeah. Rick told me. He doesn't listen when Jan is a big TV guy. Dylan, you out? All right, man. I will hit you up about maybe what day works for you next week if you want to come on, like Large Marge did, Dylan. So I'll send you a DM about that, and hopefully we could do that. It would be fun. So, and now we figured out it works. So it was one of you guys who was my weaker link, not me, on Tuesday. Good night, Dylan. Stephen White says he watches a ton of bike stuff. Yeah, the roads. So, yeah, Stephen, we've had the same, or Stefan, me and Large Marge were talking. We can't ride the bike trails around here at all right now, but the main streets are all right. So, like, even my route to get downtown and stuff, I went and checked out our towpath trail to get downtown. Couldn't ride it, and if the members got to see my attempt at it the other day. But yeah, it's a mess here, just with it snowing, and then it's just like getting real crunchy on top and then powder underneath. We were talking about it at the shop tonight. I guess Yonda tried to even go out on the fat bike, and he was like, it's not possible. How late is it? Should I have cracked? Well, it's too late. I already cracked this beer. 10:40. I shouldn't have cracked this beer. Not trying to have, like, the last 3 streams have been a little too much drinking. But this is a pretty cool looking beer, huh? Get that. Christiana, thanks for it. It's time to move to Florida. Yeah. I have a total love-hate attitude about Florida. Like I said, Kayak, my mom's sister, my aunt, lives in Sanford, which is not far from Orlando, as you know. As kids, we always went down and visit them. Then we would drive out to Daytona or Ponce Inlet, a bunch of Cocoa Beach, a bunch of those beaches that are over on the Atlantic from there. And then we'd also go to some of the springs, Blue Springs and Rock Springs and all that kind of stuff, where you float down on an inner tube, and it's like, this is amazing. But then Florida also has like a government that's just as bad as Ohio's, in my opinion, where, you pay to drive on a road. Last time I was in Florida, I got out of a car and I had an Obama shirt on, and these women were staring at me, and I'm like, what is this? And I came back, and there was a racist note left under my windshield wiper. And I know that's just you can't condemn a whole state for that one story, but it just seemed to happen over and over again to me down there. But oh, Large Marge, I just got your joke. I totally forgot. I'll tell that story too. It's better than me ripping on Florida, because that's mean. But JMZ said, all right, one more, twist my arm, beer emoji. Nice. Stephen White said Florida sounds better and better. I think I shared this link before, but I've been watching a guy. He does cycle touring in Florida. What is his name? Hopefully it pops up if I start to type something. No, YouTube ain't going to help me out tonight. I'll go to my subscriptions and see if I could find him. But yeah, right now I'm watching all this green, and it's just like so amazing. What is his name? Real small YouTuber. I mean, I think probably a couple hundred subscribers, but I've been enjoying just, especially with what we have going on here, watching his tours. And he does like 3-4 day tours. He does like 90 miles a day. Probably about 10 years older than me. I know I'm all over the place, guys. That's how I am. But yeah, with the Yonda story, so we were in the bike shop a few weeks ago. I can't remember, we were doing something on Aaron's Bombora probably, so maybe like a month ago. And I can't remember exactly how it went down, but Yonda said something about like, oh, I love television. And so Ben put on the song Marky Moon by Television, and we're rocking out to some Television, and at some point we all realized that we're not talking about the same thing at all. Yonda's talking about a TV, and we're talking about the Richard Hell band from the 70s in New York City. So Television's great, yeah. Gary said the gayest beer he's seen, this one. Why does it? Oh, the face detect works too good sometimes. Yeah, Television is proto-punk. Like Richard Hell, who was in Television, went on to be in like punk bands like the Heartbreakers, not Tom Petty's, Johnny Thunder's Heartbreakers, and yeah. It's weird because, today, and it just shows how quickly we change, but today got up to like 30, and I went out and I'm like, oh, this isn't bad at all, because we've been in the low 20s for like a couple weeks. And I also like snow for a while, but now it's wearing out its welcome and I'm ready for summer, but does it taste like pineapple? No, it's very citrusy. It's got Citra, Centennial, Simcoe, Mosaic, and Topaz hops. It's definitely a cool thing about Omegang is they always use that like Belgian style yeast though, so it has that really cool finish of that, spicy, lemony yeast. Yeah, it is more citrusy, but talking about the beer again, but yeah, definitely mellowed out by that kind of hops. It's kind of what you would call Belgian IPA, but they're not saying that. I don't think Omegang has to. They're a Belgian brewery. They're in New York, but they use yeast from Belgium. So I think they're a partnership actually with a Belgian brewery. This can has less information than their bottles usually do. Yeah, it's an Omegang in a can. There's too many different things going on here. I haven't seen the one guy he drove in Florida on a Walmart bike. Stephen White said 30 would be a heat wave there. Yeah. Yeah, you guys have had the super cold stuff, right? Gary, with Paul Green, are you responding to Kayak? Yeah, Television's guitar player, who became a guitar player in Richard Hell's later band, is actually a guy who has Akron connections. So one of my good friends, where my Roger Riviere came from, that one of his best friends, that was his uncle. Which of course I'm gonna Mark Quine. Mark Quine was my friend. Quine is the last name of the guitar player though. So, Mark used to tell us stories about Quine showing up at Robert Quine was the guitar player in Television and the Voidoids and stuff like that. But used to, come over on Thanksgiving, and they're like our weird rock star uncle who is in mid-level bands, Television, they had major label releases, but they're like a lot of you guys don't know about them, right? So yeah, kind of interesting that there's a connection here in town to those bands. And also Robert Quine had recorded, if you guys know the Velvet Underground, going back to the 60s, very like also proto-punk, but to me, one of the earliest true punk bands would be the Velvet Underground, New York band. Robert Quine had recorded a bunch of their shows, and then those came out as the Quine tapes, and they're really famous Velvet Underground bootlegs. But Hasty says he wonders if Tim knows anything about Akron. Dead Boys were Cleveland too, right? Yeah, so typical thing that if you want it, I mean, I know this isn't your intention, but so yeah, the Dead Boys connections are more to Youngstown, but Cleveland claims Youngstown and Akron, and just like LeBron and everything else, I think, Cleveland gets, everyone groups us as Cleveland, but yeah. So the drummer of my band in the videos I played, the one guitar player in the Dead Boys, is related to the drummer who was in my band. Yeah, so there's a local Northeast Ohio connection as well with the Dead Boys. Yeah. They made it in New York around the same time as, Richard Hell's latest stuff. But a lot of the bands, like Devo moved to LA, Dead Boys moved to New York, a lot, Tim visited Akron once, and now all he does is talk about it. He's got a postcard from Akron and he likes his life. Pudgy said it's like where he's from, everything's Boston. Yeah. Yeah. We get that. And the thing, Akron actually gets less attention than a lot of cities of its size because our television market got sucked in. And I've watched a whole documentary about it. It's really interesting, but like Akron doesn't have its own TV stations or anything. And if you look around the country and the state, cities the size of Akron generally do have their own media, and we never did. And so, like, Akron really becomes like just Cleveland. My one good friend David Giffels is an author, and he's written a bunch of books. But his old joke was, it takes 45 minutes to drive to Cleveland, but 2 hours to drive from Cleveland to Akron, and just the thing we say around here. But yeah, it's always we're the just Cleveland's little stepchild. So Rick says he read an article where the Who lip synced everything. Well, that's total bullshit. The Who was one of the best live bands ever, especially in the 60s. And they, everybody lip synced for a certain period in that era. But the Rolling Stones actually, I think I got it, in Rock and Roll Circus, cut the Who's part down very short because the Who showed them up so bad in that movie. But Obsolescence asked, how far back does proto-punk go? So people kind of consider proto-punk like late 60s, early 70s stuff, so it's kind of its own category, whereas like 60s garage rock, is it proto-punk by what that word would mean in the English language? Yes, but I think it's a different category. It's just like saying oldies. Oldies always means 60s music. Like 80s aren't oldies now. That doesn't change. Oldies is a category of music, even though the 80s are old now. 80s music is 80s music, new wave, whatever you want to, whatever category, early hip hop, So proto-punk goes way back. I mean, there's 50s stuff that just totally destroys that they consider, like punk in a way. The term punk doesn't come about till the 70s, but a lot of this is looking back and putting terms onto stuff, but yeah, like the Sonics, the Monks, all that kind of stuff. That early 60s punk had way more influence on, the Clash and stuff like that, and like the bands that became punk than a lot of stuff we now call proto-punk. That there's gaps in there. The Modern Lovers, Jonathan Richman took what the Velvet Underground was doing, punked it up a little bit. I know Joe Strummer was aware of them, but there's books written on this whole category, and I've read a lot of them. So, Jay Dandy says Devo in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yep, yeah. Akron was in Seinfeld too, because he's Yonda said Akron was in Parks and Rec. There's a Seinfeld where the one where George is going to say, what's the joke? he's going to make a joke, and he's going to Firestone, and so when he goes to get on the airplane, the sign says Akron, so which is funny because at the time they made that, Firestone's headquarters was already in Nashville, but we still have the tech center. But Pudgy said, "Oh God, here we fucking go." And Pudgy, you said Screaming Trees. I've never listened to them. I was playing some of our videos on Tuesday. In a review, we got compared to the Screaming Trees, which we thought was interesting. We're like, we should check them out. We just got a review compared us to them, but we've never heard them. So yeah, I still don't know the Screaming Trees, but yeah, we definitely got compared to them. Learning so much today. Worst Seinfeld joke ever. Yeah, sorry. My weakness is when I need to remember something I can't. Not when it comes to music, but when it comes to random stuff. So Kayak said Green Day. I love early Green Day stuff. They were doing like what's considered modern pop punk and doing it better than almost anyone, in the late 80s. So someone says Tim has Devo vinyl bootlegged from a cassette. My band, when we were recording a couple songs, and this is before they were arena rock, so I'm not trying to name drop, it's just a fact. But Pat, the drummer of the Black Keys, was recording some songs from us. He had a home over in Highland Square, and right down actually from where the Devo house was, which he actually lived in for a while. We call it the Devo house because they rented it when they were getting going as a band. But and we just all know where it is. But Pat was recording us in the basement, but he had this really cool 45 playing jukebox, and he actually had original vinyl Devo 45s in there. He had Mongoloid, which is a super rare, super early Devo, way before, Jocko Homo, way before Whip It and all that stuff. So Pudgy said Screaming Trees are super old punk rock, which is why you mentioned them. No soup for you. Proto oldies. Obsolescence, hardcore punk at all? I mean, in the mid 90s when I was going to shows, I listened to hardcore punk. I never liked hardcore because those are two different things. It was just too screamy for me. I liked anything that we've always said if you could slow it down and play it with an acoustic guitar and it sounds good, it's a good song. So I liked that kind of hardcore punk that was still catchy and stuff like that. But straight up screaming did nothing for me. I was me and Aaron, not long after I was dating her, we were riding home. We were coming home from Cleveland. I can't remember what we were doing. We went up there for dinner, and I think we were probably just hitting a couple breweries and getting dinner. I don't think we were up there to see bands or anything. But there's a series out of Canada called the New History of Music, but our public radio, we have a public radio music station here in Akron, 91.3 The Summit, and they broadcast this thing, and they do like an hour-long deep dive into like one small piece of music history. And even when it's one I don't care about, it's always really interesting and worth listening to. But it just so happened they were doing 70s punk rock, and so like Aaron kind of knows what I like, but that's not the kind of stuff I throw on anymore. It's like what I throw on when I'm alone and I'm drinking and I'm having a good time remembering back to stuff. But and I do have a big vinyl collection of Clash and The Jam and a lot of 70s punk rock and stuff like that. But so this came on, and all on 70s British punk rock, and the guy, he would start a sentence and I would finish it, and over again. And then he would be like, he would bring up someone like Joe Strummer and talk about he would say their like what their real name was, and then I'd be like Joe Strummer of the Clash, and then the guy would be like, and now he's known as Joe Strummer of the Clash. And Aaron was just like kept turning to me, and I'm like, yeah, I guess we've been dating for about a year, but I have a super specific knowledge that is super deep and is like, I know everything about this category this guy is talking about. I probably know more than this guy who just did the research for this episode, you know. And the whole way home, it just kept going. Like, we're talking about Richard Hell, and then he's like, then he teamed up with, and I'm like, Johnny Thunders and formed the Heartbreakers. And he's like, Johnny Thunders and formed the Heartbreakers. It was pretty humorous. It'd be better to hear her tell the story, because she's just like all stuff she's never even heard of, and then I know it on a level that's even deeper. So you know, yeah, weird. One of my weird, you know, little things. Let's see, did you ever hear of Dobbs Bar in Philly? Oh, I've never been to. We smoked all my weed and I puked in the bar. Good times. Excellent story. Better than my stories. But we'll get you back on here, Rick, and then we could do this too one night too. So, because now we know it works, so we'll do the one-on-one thing. I know everyone blamed Rick too. It's not fair for the feedback last time, but when we did the test, we did a live stream test that we didn't list, and Rick was on it, and it wasn't his fault because it came out fine. Just, I know everyone likes to give Rick some stuff, but oh, Large Marge said, "Don't mention Dylan in front of Tim." Tim, he'll never stop. Yeah, I love Bob Dylan. Absolutely love Bob Dylan. 60s Bob Dylan, not really, and then like the more than, yeah. So 60s and then 2000s Bob Dylan, but well, Bob Patrick, you know, the Dylan and Bob Dylan, he got that stage name from Dylan Thomas. Jacob Dylan's father. Are you a big Wallflowers fan, Pudgy? Is that your thing? One headlight. Yeah, I mean, in fairness, we do blame Rick for everything bad. You don't need to stop, but I'm just saying, sometime I got to be honest. Honest. There was a night. Oh God, tell another music story, you guys, you bastards. Don't lip sync everything. That's good. That's good. I can't deny it. But this band was in town called the Tough Shits, which are like, I don't know, Large Marge, how would you describe them? They're punk rock and roll is kind of a term that's come around a little bit, because it's like, you're like, this is punky, but it's like very catchy, but it's not pop punk, and it's got that just more of a rock and roll like aesthetic, but great band. They're from Philly, actually, Rick. And they played in Akron, and they just like, tiny show, 15 people there at a small bar in Highland Square. And it was awesome. And so when they came back around, everybody who was there, those 15 people, let every one of their friends know. And then there were 50 people. And they just always did really well for a very small band in Akron. But I think it was the second time they rolled through, I can't remember, someone like, it was the bartender who was a friend of mine, Wes, who rides with us, was like, they haven't planned for a place to crash. And I was like, oh, they could come over to my place and stay. That's when I lived, you know, about 3-4 miles from here, close to where Large Marge lives now. And they all came back to my place, and that was the night where we just smoked a ton of grass and listened to Dylan all night. And it wasn't a band that you would, same thing, you wouldn't think they were big Dylan fans. And all our other friends who had come back to hang out for a little while were so annoyed, because me and the Tough Shits just sang every word to every 60s Dylan song all night. And we were like all looking at each other laughing, because it was like, oh, these guys know every word. This guy knows every word. Like goofy stuff. But yeah. Bringing Down the Horse was a great album. There's a quote from Big Lebowski that reminds me of you guys right now. It's friends like these. Still trying to find this guy from Florida for you, kayak, but I could go to my history. I watched one of his videos today. I said what I said. Isn't it like follow Thomas? Maybe that's what it is. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that link I just dropped, that's a guy who does cyclotouring solo in Florida. I mean, it's not like I said, a lot of stuff we watch, but it's interesting. I kind of get a kick out of it. So this is what happens, Larry. Do we have any, let's see, because I know how many of you are talking. Do we have any lurkers who are dealing with us? Yes, we do. We've got a fair bit of lurkers. Sorry, lurkers. This is what happens. Butthole Surfers are another band that I know about them and I've heard them, but I couldn't pull anything out of my, and it's not a negative thing. I just never, there's bands that slip through the cracks. So Kayak says he likes old school blues like Robert Johnson. Well, that is the oldest school blues on recordings about that there is, right? That also ties in with Dylan, too, because Dylan's record label was the one who kind of brought Robert Johnson back. So, he was pretty forgotten about, the whole sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads thing. That's Robert Johnson. But it was the early 60s when Dylan just got signed. His record label was about to release all of Robert Johnson's material. They played it for Dylan first, and Dylan was totally in love with it and was a part of that getting released and how it got released. So, and why we can still hear it today. Play it. How much trouble can you get in? Yeah, it's I need to do a little more research on these live streams because like on Tuesday I played like the small faces, and what happens is, and I've talked about this, but so what YouTube does, if I have it set to monetize, they'll just take that away, and but what they'll do is they'll give the revenue. They'll keep the ads on, but they'll give the revenue to whoever the copyright holders are, which is totally fine. It makes sense, right? Or sometimes it says they'll give them analytics, which doesn't really bother me either. But there are true copyright strikes, and that's the line I'm worried about crossing, and I don't know what that is, and I need to do some more research, but I think that's doing stuff that's like dishonest. I think it's repurposing material. So if I just straight up play something copyrighted, I'm not in trouble. It just means that like I don't get any money, which is, for like the AdSense that would be on these live streams will get about 100 to 130 views while we're doing them. And then, and that doesn't mean consistently, like right now, like what, 23 people are watching, but over the course of this live stream, like 100, 120 people might watch. And then, after the fact, it might get like 50 more views. That's like 5 cents. So if that 5 cents ends up going to someone who played a song in one of these streams. That's no big deal, you know. Like, I just saw Large Marge said, or Bob Marley. Yeah, especially early true Whaler stuff, man. I love true Whaler stuff. I love true Jamaican ska, true rocksteady, early 70s reggae. That shit is so good. Copyright things are essentially posting movies. So yeah, you're just taking someone else's stuff, posting it on your channel like it's yours. But you know how much we can watch, like, I just know how much I find stuff on YouTube that's like legit stuff I want to watch, and I know the person who posted is not the copyright holder. I just wonder where, that's just so strange. Kayak asked if I had my own music. Yeah, we were watching some of it on Tuesday, and I made a SoundCloud page with some of it. Maybe I could find that and drop a link. See if I still have a login. Oh, it's got me. It's showing it has a password. Oh yeah, nice. So where's your stuff? There we go. Share, copy link. Here's a bit of my band's music. I don't remember exactly what I put up, but I think it's a broad spectrum. I was in a band for like at least 10 years. So, I missed your follow up on Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson, he's the father of most of the music. Yeah, I mean, he's totally a genius. Seeing a pattern here. The Specials? Yeah, I'm a big Specials fan. Old Blues, Charlie Patton, 1928 and 29 for sure. Live music makes Rick puke. Exclamation point. That's what I need, is just like exclamation point Dylan. Or I guess I could make a strange, my band was called the Strange Division, so that's the link I dropped. I should make a command for that. Well, I'll play one of our faves, maybe at a level that. Sorry, guys. How is that for a background level? Too quiet? Too loud? It's not a command. Kayak, if you're listening to from your phone, I mean from a computer, you should be able to just open a new tab and go to that. Right click to that link. Yeah. This is blaring in my headphones, so it's so hard for me to tell what you guys are hearing because I don't hear my own voice. Still too quiet? Power pop mod. That's kind of at this point. Yeah, that was one of my favorites. That was our. Oh, whoa. I guess they keep going, huh? Power Proto. Yeah. And that's what I do. I use a lot of those, especially I used them in my early videos when I first started on YouTube, and I brought some back around for some of the later ones now that people are actually watching a few of them. Oh, yeah, we played White Lighter the other night. So, yeah, the drummer in White Lighter was the singer of my band, but that song didn't have him in that. So he moved to California for a while, and then we went back just to being a three-piece. Even though you could tell there's overdubs, so that's, I mean, or maybe just seeing Rick View. Ska, so I think we were talking about this a little bit. Like, I definitely like 60s Jamaican ska, and I like the specials. I like two-tone ska, but third wave ska with all the fucking horns just annoys the shit out of me. So, and there's some good stuff in that scene too. Weren't we talking about? Or are you just getting me going? Is that what's going on here? Are you just making me have the same conversation again? That's probably what's happening. But yeah, that third wave stuff from the late 90s, man. No, thank you. It's just one of those things too, where it's like it's not bad, and if it's what got you into ska, I totally understand it. But just knowing the earlier stuff, that's so much better, in my opinion. My humble IMHO. That we haven't talked about it that you know of, yeah, yeah. Like who are the leaders of that scene? Well, I mean, obviously the Mighty Mighty Boss Notes broke out, but I didn't think they actually sounded that third wave ska ever. Like it seemed like the Pie Tasters and stuff like that were more of the, and then you had to put ska in your name, so it's like Lee Harvey Skoswald and like everything, which was funny for a while, and then it just got very fucking boring. Just like the Green Day thing. It's like Green Day was doing pop punk, and like I said, in the late '80s, they got big in 1995, and then after a while, when all these like some of the other bands that came out were bands that had been around forever and got popular, Screeching Weasel, the Queers, and all that stuff. But then the Blink 182s and all that fucking garbage that was just a ripoff of something they didn't even know about. Like, yeah, it got boring with that stuff. But yeah. Yeah, when will we get to see live music again, man? That's the White Lighter video I was playing. I was saying the singer of my band is the drummer of that band. It's like that was one of the last shows I saw, and man, I miss it so much. I don't go to a lot of big shows anymore. Me and Aaron went down to Louisville to see Lord Huron and rode our bikes and stuff like that. That was a while ago, but it's usually I'm going out to see like friends bands that are really good and have a good time. And even stuff that's not always up my alley. It's just like go out and get to see everybody and have a good conversation. Yeah, miss it so much. Yeah, basically the good ones create the idea and the labels exploit it, is what Pudgy said. Yeah, that always happens. It's always a thing. That's what I'm trying to think. There's a famous. Yeah, it relates to Akron. I think it's Devo was touring in the UK, and they got asked what is Akron like, and they said, well, it's a lot like Liverpool. Because I think that's where they were around, and the press and the record labels listening thought they meant it's a lot like that in the music scene, and they came here and they snapped up a bunch of bands and tried to sell them, and it didn't work because a lot of them were real oddball like Devo, Tin Huey, the Bizarros, the Rubber City Rebels, and all these bands got record contracts, and all their records just totally tanked. But it's because Devo said this one line in an interview in a UK magazine, and it just like got this steam. Crazy little. There's a compilation that came out about It's got like a rubber on it, a tire on it, a rubber on it, a tire on it, and everything. And yeah, it's cool. As I've gotten older, I've gotten to know a lot of these people who were there back in the day, and like talk to them, and they become friends. And they're great musicians, and their records rule, but they just never took off. They never got famous. They never made money. You know. Hammer Damage. Yeah, Hammer Damage is another one Large Marge brought up. Yeah. I found one of their original Hammer Damages 45s at an estate sale. Scoop that up. Yeah, a lot of... Akron has like a really good music scene. I mean, always has. I mean, there's kids that are way younger than me now that before everything went wrong, I'd go and see and I'd be like, oh, wow. They're doing great stuff. And then stuff I don't understand too. Like, what's that one band, Large Marge, we always go see now that they do this weird, like, they look like cool kids, but they almost do like a proggy type thing that is like really interesting. But then it goes into these pop arts, like stuff beyond even what I even understand. I love it. Like I said, I'm a snob, but at the same time, it's like I'm open to other cool stuff as well. Bangin' Grannies. That would be a good band name right there, right? The Bangin' Grannies. I'm going to trademark that right now before you guys can take. Well, speaking of piddling, I do need a piddle again, but let's see. Still some of you guys hanging out, so Oregon Space Trail of Doom, yeah. They're like, that's one of those examples of something where I'm like, I go and see those guys, they're what, 10, 15 years younger than me. That's scary. But it's like, I don't entirely know what they're going for. Like, I don't know what their motivation is or who their influence are. Like, in my time, I could go see someone that I didn't necessarily like. I didn't want their record, but I was like digging seeing them play live. But I'm like, okay, this is kind of their vibe. This is what they're into. Now there's younger bands where I'm like, I don't even know. But this is really cool. These guys are amazing musicians. They're playing something that's fun and different, you know. Rick, you're a real dick. You drink too many ciders tonight? Oh, Boomin' Grannies is a Beastie Boys song. What video could I pull up here and not get arrested for while I pittle? Oh, you said they remind you of early King Gizzard. Interesting. Nice. Play one of Ben's videos, but I'd get arrested for it. I'll throw this one up here. This is a photo slideshow that I thought was really cool. That even for my typical, when I say didn't do really well, I mean, but this is one of my favorite videos I've done, and yeah, throw it up here. Whoa. Well, that pedal. It's not going to be a little too loud, probably. Patrick's last live show was Red Fang. I've never been to Wyoming. I've actually never ridden my bike out west. Last show Pudgy saw was Dropkick Murphys and Flogging Molly. Wyoming, the state? Yeah, the Discord was popping off all week. I think we ran out of things to talk about. This is about the point where me and Large Marge blacked out. Yeah, then we decided to go into the overflow tunnels after this, which I right there vaguely remember. Yeah, it was a wild day. I get that. Yeah, Large Marge has his helmet on backwards in that elevator. No, we didn't pick. I didn't puke. No. It was one of those kind of where you're drinking all day long and you're just slowly, getting buzzed. So you're never like really sick or sloppy, but. Did we get some new? Oh, did get some Mid-South pictures from Large Marge. Bike on the way to the race. Oh, look at that. That looks rough. Rick's Guide to Live Music. Get her number or puke on the bar. No exceptions, or no. It should be no in between. I think, Pudgy. Jesus says, "Don't worry, I'll post some White Industries parts tomorrow, and you can question your choices." I don't think anyone gonna question any White Industries stuff, right? I don't even know how you got your camera out or your phone out to take these photos, Large Marge. Oh, look at that. His fenders aren't cool. I think it only rains like one out of every. Large Margin know better than me, but I think it only rains like one out of every like 10 to 15 years at this race. It's Oklahoma. It's supposed to be like dry, dusty, but then when it does rain, it's like this. Oh my god. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, look at those. A large Mars chain isn't even on at that point. Yeah, it's that kind of stuff that just turns into like cement, you know? Oh, nice, Gary. Freedom of choice. I'm not in on Black Fork. I didn't buy up a ticket on time. Not that I couldn't go ride it, but it's also an excuse not to ride it that I didn't get in on it. A little more Strange Division in the background. Old West Settlers, yeah. It's one of my better bass lines, I would say. Alright, buddy. Yeah. This is one that happened like he was recorded for us. We recorded the backing tracks to actual analog tape, and then he transferred it over to digital to the guitar overdubs and vocals. So now it's a bit loud. Yeah, it is. You don't need to hear me. Yeah, this is our most Clash Who-like song, probably. Thanks, Kai. I'm trying to remember. I told Pete, the guitar player, about that ending, and it was straight from another song. I'm trying to remember if that was a Beatles song or what. I'm like, I want to end a song like, boom, doo, 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 doo. It's not coming to me where I got that from, but whatever it was, I'd be like, yeah, very clashy for sure, very clashy. Those were the best songs we ever did. Pat was just really good at mixing them that fit our sound, what we always were trying to do. I think we only did 4 songs with Pat. Unfortunately, I wish we did more because he knew our vibe, and that's why we put the backing tracks to analog tape. You know, but our guitar player is the songwriter, singer, guitar player is an absolute like perfectionist. So to do the overdubs to digital makes way more sense, where you could just keep running it over and over again. But me and the drummer could knock out our backing tracks, and he could knock out that rhythm guitar track like nothing. So you got those, and you get that nice warm analog sound. But then you switch it over to digital to be able to punch in the guitars. Sounded like Pretty Woman. Studio, yeah, it was studio. It's a basement studio. It's literally Pat Carney from the Black Keys' basement when he used to live in Akron. So, and I mean, that is a studio, but it's not like, don't picture like, soundproofing material everywhere and fancy stuff. This was, a friend's basement. But the riff at the start of Pretty Woman. Yeah, I could see that. Wouldn't be offended by it being compared to Roy Orbison, that's for sure. If you were there, you'd be the only one not drunk. Yeah, we recorded on, over the years, all kinds of different equipment. We did a couple songs up at this place called Suma that recorded all the Grand Funk Railroad albums and stuff. And I was just talking to actually my tenant who lives on the other side of the studio. He was talking about recording at this place Suma and how cool it was. But when Wes was in the band, our singer, they found out he was a big Rolling Stones fan. And so the guy, he had this vault with stuff like all this old equipment that was worth tens, and some of it they told us was hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they broke out this mic, and he was like, this is not the mic, but it's the same kind of mic that Mick Jagger used for Sympathy for the Devil. And it's one of those cool looking, it's got the round piece and the mic's in the middle and those like little wiry like bike spokes holding it up. And so he's like, yeah, record on this mic. It'll give you that cool vibe or whatever. And when those guys, the guy who brought us there was a guy we knew from here in Akron. And actually Rick, who I bought the studio off of, actually knew this dude too, because he used to like roadie for one of their bands back in the day. I don't know, all this long history type stuff. But when no one was looking, Wes had his beer in his hand and he turned and it like hit this mic like flat on really, really hard. And we were really like nervous and like looking around, and no one noticed, and they didn't have their headphones on. They were all like in the booth, and this is like studio type place. It was actually in an old house up by Lake Erie somewhere, but just crazy nice stuff. And nobody noticed, and we just like moved it back to where it was supposed to go. And but then we were told that like this guy, because he let everyone smoke in there. Everyone's like smoking pot, they're smoking cigarettes. And you're like, why would you let smoke go around all this stuff? And the guy who took us up there was like, what he does is he sits there at night, he takes all this stuff apart, he meticulously cleans it all, and he puts it all back together. That it was, yeah, and they say it's like, and they said we didn't even get to see the nice stuff, So, yeah. I have a song recorded there, I think. And this is much more, we wanted a lot of like reverb and tried to get the 60s sound when we were recording up there. But yeah, the best they ever got my bass to sound. It's less punky, but He's still playing music. It's still what he does. I don't still play some of these songs. He'll probably give me a copyright infringement at some point. I love the sound they got on this guitar solo. You know, just has that great 60s-ish. All right, Kayak. Thanks for stopping in, man. You want to hang out with the bot? I like to think we didn't stick to one thing. I think that kind of proves it between the Clashy song and the 60s song. But yeah, that's why I put this stuff up here, because people would always be like, people we even used to see our, you know, shows, like, can I hear some of this? And then Pete would be like, that Pete, the guitar player, could never get his shit together enough to put it out there. And I'd be like, well, I'm going to put some of it online so I could share it with my friends. And if he wants to get mad at me, like, then we should have made records when we were a band. You know, I don't know. Oh, the Muscle Shoals doc. Yeah, I have. That's great stuff. I think my favorite '60s doc on like soul stuff though is the Standing in the Shadows of. It's about the band that played all the backing tracks for the Motown songs, and at the end of the documentary they show the list, and you're like, this is all like, this is 50 of the top 100 best songs ever written, you know. Seeing if you guys popped anything in the I could show the picture, but I won't play it. That is the Hammer Damage 45 I found at a large Marge at an estate sale, which I can't believe. But I don't think we'd get in trouble. I don't think I've used Tough Shit songs in my videos before, and there's not a copyright infringement, so we might be able to actually play that. The Industrial Piddle shirt. So Tough Shits are the band that I was saying came back to my place from Philadelphia, and we just listened to Dylan all night and rocked out. But this is how awesome they are. We'll risk it.
Why hurt you kisses on the mouth? Oh yeah, on the mouth. I hurt you kisses on
And this is one of their more chill songs too.
I hurt you kisses on the whoa, whoa, whoa. Hurt you kisses on the mouth. Oh yeah.
Let me Google that for you, Rick, because that is so worthwhile. The Funk Brothers is the name of the band. The Funk Brothers played on like every great Motown song. You out, Jesus? Thanks for stopping by. It was fun, man. Oh, that's the Rotten Tomatoes link, but that works. There's the official site. Now I got it. Yeah. All the Supreme songs, all the Temptation songs, it's the same backing band. song we're listening to is called I Heard She Kisses on the Mouth. Ben has it linked, Large Marge has it linked in the Discord music section. Yeah, that's Standing in the Shadows of Motown, the Funk Brothers. Yeah, they're all those bass sounds. It's such a good documentary. Like I said, it's just so good, so interesting to hear all the stories. But like I said, at the end, they just roll the songs that they played on. Then you're just like, this is everything. This is all the most important music, you know. So. Goons of Doom. I'm not familiar with them. I'll have to look them up too. Yep, from Rick's Hood. It's interesting that I never thought about like considering this channel like a beer review, photography, bike stuff, that like music has never been anything I've considered talking about. I guess it's kind of because that's all we did. There was Gordy probably played him squad. I think they were paid like session men. I can't remember. I need to go back and watch that documentary too, because I know I love it. I've watched it like 3 times, but now it's been 10 years since the last time. But yeah, so Wes, who was in my band, I remember actually sitting on the back patio at his girlfriend's house one night, and we were smoking some joints, whatever, and I'm drinking some beers, and I remember looking over and just realizing where our conversation had been, becoming aware of like what you're talking about, you know, and all that stuff. And I looked at her and I said, do we ever talk about anything besides music? And she looked back at me and she was like, never, you know? So I guess it's kind of the thing where it's like, it's still a huge passion of mine, but it's also trying to be a broader. And I think a lot of people probably could ask a lot of us about bicycles like that way. We're like, do you guys ever talk about anything besides bicycles? You know? So, but it's about 1:45. I think we wind this down here. I don't have anything too early tomorrow. I am running out to do a walkthrough at IBH, International Brotherhood. I don't know what the H is. They're an addiction treatment facility. I should probably check myself in, but instead I'm going to photograph a new property they bought, and go do. They're talking about trying to do a month-long time lapse of the property as it gets remade. I looked up what like long-term time-lapse cameras cost without having to go out and change. Like I could do that with my GoPro or anything, but I have to go out and change the batteries all the time, even running extra batteries. And it looks like there's some that are like $350. I don't think that's going to be in these people's budget. But I was saying, like, why don't we just document it over time? Why don't I come out 3 or 4 times, do some cool drone footage, stuff like that. But that's what I'm doing tomorrow at 10. So that's the earliest I have to be up. And then I'm going to be editing all day. Like I said, I shot that wedding last week. I still need to get a bunch of that stuff done. I did some, I don't know if you guys, did I show it on here? Well, it showed it on Instagram, but shot a bunch of machines, so it'll just be photo editing day after I get back from that. So, industrial piddle shirts make them happen. Someone needs what does an industrial piddle shirt look like? Is it like Calvin, from Calvin and Hobbes, like pissing on my industrial gravel logo? You know, none of us would wear that. I'll figure something out. I'll figure some kind of piddle break shirt out. I said I should probably. Oh, I said that. True. All right. Yeah. I think we've probably pushed it beyond what even the lurkers can stand for, right? All right, guys. I will see you on Tuesday. Oh, yeah. Tomorrow's upload is one of the slow TV ones that I'm doing for the shop. It's just after the video I put out where me and Ben are riding out and I overdubbed it. this is like a 30-minute ride down the hike and bike trail in the snow. So it's like one of those that's fun to like just pop in and like fast forward and skip around or play it back at like double speed on YouTube. But I did work on some, like, I do have some more produced and like edited videos that will be coming out like early next week, maybe over the weekend if I could get to them. Like I just listed, I have a bunch of work to get to, real work, but traveling through. What's up, man? Just started lurking. Well, yeah, have a good night, man. Thanks for popping in and letting us know you're around. Rainbow Piddle. Okay, you guys. I appreciate it. You guys are the best. This is so fun.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is what I'm saying.
Fitzwater photo.